You've spent thousands on furniture that is actually working against you. Most people think a beautiful home is about what you add: the next lamp, the more expensive rug, the latest trend. But designers know it's actually about the mathematics of what you live out. Professional environments are characterized by soul, an elusive quality achieved when every element, from the placement of the curtain rod to the scent of your foyer, serves as a single intentional vision. Today, we're going beyond decor. We are looking at the rigorous spatial logic, dimensional mathematics, and sensory architecture that separates an amateur interior from a high-end residence. We begin with the art of the void. Negative space is often misunderstood as emptiness, but in professional design, it's a deliberate tool. Think of it as visual pause, a pocket of air that spotlights your favorite pieces. When a room feels crowded, your brain experiences a high cognitive load. You can't relax because everything is calling your attention at once. Beautiful homes restrain to signal luxury. They surround a hero piece with breathing room to elevate it, much like a museum display. If your movement feels tight or the room feels heavy, the solution isn't to reorganize, it's to subtract. Floating your furniture away from the walls and leaving expanses of ceiling or architecture unadorned is how you communicate a confident curation. We only keep what matters. The next, narrative cohesion. How does a professional home feel like a single unified story instead of a collection of separate rooms? Designers use what's called the invisible thread. This is a recurring material, color, or pattern repeated in every space to create cohesion. One of the biggest mistakes is buying items impulsively. Professionals use the 70-30 rule. Dedicate 70% of a space to a primary style, let's say traditional, and 30% to a contrasting style, like contemporary. This prevents your home from looking like a furniture shop, and it gives your home a layered historical feel. Start with one hero pattern or inspiration piece and let every other material complement it through varying scales and textures rather than trying to match it exactly. Now let's talk about the math. Misalignment of scales and proportion is the most frequent error in non-professional homes. Scale refers to an object's size relative to the room, while proportion is the relationship between objects. First, your area rug. A rug is not a decoration, it's an anchor. It must ground at least the front legs of every piece into a grouping. If it's floating in the center of the room, it looks like a postage stamp and the room feels disconnected. Second, the 155 to 152 centimeter rule for art. That's 57 to 60 inches. The center of any piece of art should be roughly 150 centimeters or 60 inches from the floor, matching average human eye level for a consistent visual horizon. If you're hanging art over furniture, it should span roughly two-thirds the width of the furniture to feel visually anchored. And finally, your curtains. Professionals mount rods as high as possible, near the ceiling, to dry the eye upward and make the room feel roughly 1 meter or 3 feet taller. The hem should either slightly float about zero point 0.6 to 2.5 centimeters, a quarter inch to an inch above the floor for a tailored look. or kiss the floor for a classic approach. If you want drama, you can pull the fabric with an extra 5 to 15 centimeters, 2 to 6 inches, gathering on the floor. Next, the vibe of a professional home is a multisensory experience. Modern luxury focuses on how a room feels, smells, and sounds. Acoustic wellness is critical. We use rugs, curtains, and textured upholstery to absorb noise and reduce echoes. We use olfactory layering to separate spaces, citrus for the kitchen to energize, and grounding sandalwood for the entry to signal that you've arrived home. By mixing materials like velvet, marble, raw timber, and boucle, we foster a sense of tactile harmony. This is biophilic integration, weaving natural elements into the built environment to lower cortisol levels and improve air quality. And finally, the ABC strategy of the vignette. A vignette is a pocket-sized arrangement that tells a story. A is for anchor. Choose a hero item with a visual weight and height, like a large vase. B is for background. Use a mirror or a neutral wall to unify the group. And C is for commonality and contrast. Relate items by color, but contrast them throughout texture. Use the rule of three and the zigzag technique to create depth. By snuggling items so they touch or overlap, you signify that they are a cohesive group rather than scattered collection of objects. So conclusion, when you stop buying and you start recalibrating, your home stops being a collection of items and starts being intentional. You start moving beyond the superficiality of trends to the permanence of professional standards. You finally give your home a soul. So let's stop decorating and start designing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe and hit like button for more videos like this. Bye.